Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the Crockett Show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone. I got my man in the building, Donovan Sadiq, the Queen, Demetra K, and I am the 5-star general. It's Free Flow Fridays, and it's time to get it in. Ain't no telling what we're going to talk about. Might be some Biden, might be some Chauvin, might be some George. But we're going to talk about everything. Let's get to it, man. Say, man, I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone and tell you thank you for tuning in. You know, without you guys, we wouldn't have a show. So we definitely appreciate you taking the time out to tune in and hang out with us. I want to start off by saying today I had a very, very good day. Had the opportunity to go to Prairie View A&M for a football camp. I sponsored 6 kids. I think Demetra sponsored 1. But we ended up bringing over 120 kids to the football camp. Not just inner city kids from the suburbs. This was all orchestrated by a good dude named Michael Moore, Westbury graduate, but the proud owner of a black-owned business, the Stuffed Baked Potato Factory. And the kids had a ball, man. I mean, it started off this morning with 2 charter buses, a full police escort from Houston to Prairie View. And when we pulled up, it was an eye turner. Who are these people, man? So want to thank all the volunteers that helped out today, man. You good ladies and good guys, y'all have a good heart, and you can see that you can put 40 or 50 black kids on a bus or put them together, and there's no cursing, there's no N-words, there's no disrespect. Just a bunch of good kids that want to try to better themselves. And today, like I told them, man, you're auditioning for a job. They're auditioning to get scholarships from Prairie View A&M University if they're lucky enough to get one, because everybody can't go to Alabama and Ohio State. And Prairie View it's not a consolation prize. It's actually the prize to me. Anywhere you can get a free education is the prize. So I want to thank Mike, man. You got a good heart, brother. And also, I can't remember all the people that supplied the food, but I know Marcus Davis from the Breakfast Club, another black-owned business, supplied food for these kids, and they had more than enough food, more than enough water, more than enough everything. And they were great representatives for the city of Houston, as well as for their families. Just a bunch of good kids. What's going on, Donovan?
All right, we got a lot to get into, you guys. I want to welcome you guys to the War Zone with the 5-star general and Demetra K and myself. A lot of news had broke out today, and I'm kind of glad because we were doing another show, and there's so much news that was coming on. People were informing us as the news was breaking and stuff. As you guys know, Derek Chauvin received 22 and a half years in jail, and he still has federal charges pending. I think that it's a lot, but I would have swore he would have got 12 years personally, but that was just me. But 22, I still think that's a slap in the face to black people. But what else is new? But in regards to the camp that you went to, 5-star, let's just start it off with the kids and what you were doing. You guys are down in Texas. You guys are doing the football camp. What did a lot of the kids really realize while some of them went through this program? I mean,
They found out today they're not as fast as they thought they was, because they had them click. They had to do what we call click times, 40-yard dashes. And I'm laughing and joking with some of them. And you a wide receiver, what you ran? I ran a 5.1. Man, I was a lineman. I ran a 5 flat. Now you got a lot of work to do, homie. But I think they learned that you're not always the best athlete when you step into a room full of athletes. I think that they know they got a lot of work to do to get better from an academic standpoint, along with Yates head football coach Troy DeGar, who was also one of the volunteers that we spoke on academics more than athletics, because you have to learn how to be a student athlete. So, you can't play the game unless you become a student athlete, and you have to be a student before anything. So I think today it was just an eye opener for some, because some of these kids never leave the city. They never leave the city. It was a life changer for some of them. And then some of these kids will leave from this experience and go on and do some great things, man, because that's what normally happens. You expose them to something new, and they get out there and they do what they need to do. And, we might look up and, they may be playing on Sundays in a few years.
Yeah. And like I said, there's not, big ups to you and all the fathers and brothers and cousins and, the men that took the time to go ahead and chaperone this stuff like that. Again, we are so busy within our community doing whatever we're doing that we don't have enough time to really spend helping in the community as men. I can't say anything for the women. I'm talking about for the men. So big ups to all you guys that did that. But again, a lot of the news here. You got the Derek Chauvin thing. We got a lot to talk about. There's a lot of shakeups coming on. Biden said that this is the last time he's going to extend the rent moratorium. This is it. He said either you Negroes are going to go back to work or we're not going to bail you out. So we're going to get into that a little bit later. But Demetra, what's up?
What up, everybody? I know my light is kind of funky. I'm going to fix it in just a second. Look like, ooh. Hope everybody had a great week. Hope you're having a great Friday. If you guys can do us a favor and share this live so that everybody can get the information and join in on this conversation, we would greatly appreciate it. As you guys know, it is Free Flow Friday here on the War Zone, where we talk about a whole host of things. And so we can't catch them all, but if you guys know of something that needs to be discussed, please throw it in the comment section. We'll be more than happy to discuss it here. But like Donovan said, of course, you guys know Derek Chauvin was sentenced. A lot of people are, having mixed feelings about that. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Simone Sanders as well. I put up a picture on my page. I'll try to put it up here when we talk about it. Like you guys' insight on that, and just a lot of other things that are taking place throughout the week. So anyway, what do you guys want to start off talking about?
Well, since we're talking about the moratorium being over, I think this is very important because you have a lot of women out there that started their own business. And it was just announced a couple of days ago that OnlyFans is moving away from the adult content part of it. And, I guess they got into an agreement with another platform or something, and they don't want the adult content. So a lot of women out there that were entrepreneurs onto themselves and couples and all that other craziness that people were doing, making money on OnlyFans, is going to be shut down. So the question that I would have would be, what do we do now at this point? 5-Star, what do you think about that?
They're going to have to go find a job. They're going to have to pay their rent. If not, they risk the chance of being homeless. That's all it kind of boils down to. I mean, you did what you needed to do for as long as you could do it. And now they're going to try to get this country back up and running, 100%. And that's one of the components of it, is for people to go back to work. And the only way they're going to force them to go back to work, they're going to stop, holding this rent back, allowing you to get past this rent. So I really think that people need to give serious consideration to, finding an income, creating an income, because in when it's over, it's over. And you ain't gonna have nobody to bail you out on anything. And then what happens to you and your family? Right.
But with the OnlyFans shutting down their adult content, so you got a lot of entrepreneurs out there as well. Well, what is your thoughts on that? Well, what is a single mom going to do? What are the swinging couples going to do to bring in that extra income from the simps?
Mom always used to tell my sister, if you're a woman, you should never be broke anyway. They know what they got to do. Put a hump in your back like a Halloween cat.
Demetra, what are your thoughts on that?
I was just consulting my consultant in regards to OnlyFans, and she says she believes that it's she says a crime, but she thinks it's targeting Black women, because she says OnlyFans wasn't popping until Black women got on there and made it do what it do. And so we know, and I personally know of somebody who was making lots of money on OnlyFans. In fact, you know, she's a little older than my daughter, and she has an apartment overlooking the Staples Center. You know, so you know
that's a nice view for her clientele,
right? And so them shutting that down, I don't know if it's targeting Black women. I guess Black women will suffer, from what I understand, the most. But we know that's been around. That whatever they're doing on OnlyFans it's been around since the beginning of time, right? So they might not be able to do it on OnlyFans, but I'm sure somebody's going to create another portal or something. You know, things revolutionize, right? Before they were back rooms somewhere, then, you know, transition to online. And so somebody will just create another thing for them to do it. But yeah, I mean, do you know the purpose of them taking the adult content off of there?
Well, what it is from my understanding is they teamed with another platform or something. And because that other platform's a little bit bigger, they want to kind of get into where the meat and potatoes of multimedia is, like in the movies and like streaming. You know, they want to get into that streaming aspect where they can get hardcore, you know, more money in regards to mainstream rather than this, you know, backdoor shadow thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just think they're not. If that's their reasoning, okay. But somebody will find a way for them to make money somewhere. That's never going anywhere. And you know, we may not agree with OnlyFans or what people are doing on there. I'm like, to each his own. Is that how you making your money? Then, you know, do you? You know, some of those people are making more money than a person will see in a lifetime, and they're making that in a month. So I'm not going to knock their hustle. You know, hopefully if that's what they intend on pursuing, that somebody will maybe make another platform, or they'll create a platform in order to do it, you know? So.
Okay. Up to you. Next topic.
Let me see. I wrote some things down. So I guess we could just really briefly get into the Derek Chauvin thing. You guys know Derek Chauvin was sentenced to 22 and a half years for murdering George Floyd back in May 25th of 2020, where he held his knee on his neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. Of course, it was a very highly watched trial. And his counsel was trying to get this particular sentencing and trial thrown out, and he wanted a retrial. And it sounds like, and I didn't watch it, so I'm just going off of what I understand. Sounds like they were trying to invoke that Representative Maxine Waters when, you know, she said something about tearing something up or rioting or protesting or something. She said, if he's not found guilty, and they tried to use that as a defense to get a new trial. And the same judge who actually, you know, oversaw the trial said, no, we're not going to give you a retrial. So he's doing 22 and a half years. Said that he could get some time off because it's his first offense. So, of course, he's probably not going to do all 22 and a half years. Now, it should also be said that Keith Ellison, the attorney general there, has gone on 60 Minutes and a couple other shows before the sentencing and was saying that I don't think we should be too hard on him, and we shouldn't, I forget the word he used, but basically try to throw the book at him and how he felt sorry for him and that kind of stuff. And so a lot of people aren't happy with the 22 years, but he was only looking at a maximum of 40. And I don't want to say only, like, you know, it's nothing, but, you know, he got more than I thought he was going to get. So.
5-star?
The Floyd family is happy with the outcome. It doesn't matter if I'm happy with it or not. I think that the 22 years is bullshit. I've seen people get more for 3 rocks, you know, compared to what this man got, breaking his oath of office and doing what he did. But where I'm at right now is I've already spoken on these people who say they love George so much, and they are comfortable with the 22 years. So if they're comfortable with the 22 years, and the only thing that really just aggravates me all across the board is people saying, well, we got to start somewhere. We got something. Yeah, you did. And, you know, change is gonna come. Ain't no goddamn change coming. If the roles were reversed and George murdered Chauvin, he'd have got the death penalty. He'd have got the death penalty. 22 years is a joke. And anybody that black that feel like that's more than enough time, you ain't watched some of these cases out here that folk have been involved in. And you know, like the people with the insurrection, these people getting probation. You know, but if these are black people, not people of color, because you know that includes everybody, but black people, they'd have threw the book at them. They'd have threw the book at them. But the sun has not went down. And the one thing I know is the people in Minneapolis, Minnesota, when they say something, they mean what they say. And the word has been what it's been. Anything under 25, they gonna have a problem. The sun is slowly going down. And when the sun completely goes down, we'll see if justice prevails then.
Now, Demetra, in that sentencing, I'm kind of confused in regards to how they sentenced him. They gave him 22 and a half. Is that including the time he's already served, or is that in addition to the time he will serve or whatever?
I mean, I'm not really for sure, but even if it is in addition to the time that he served, I mean, he's not going to serve the whole 22 and a half years. And for you guys, for the record, the attorney general is a black man. He said it sounds like what Trump did with the exonerated 5 years. So the attorney general there in Minnesota is a black man, Keith Ellison. And so whether it's, I mean, he's only been in there, a year, a little bit over a year since over a year since the time.
Actually, remember he had made bail, so he's only been in there for like maybe 6 months, 7 months.
I thought they revoked his bail.
Well, they revoked his bail when just before the trial started. But remember, he was allowed to go out of state for a couple of months.
No, he wasn't.
He gets credit for 199 days.
Okay, so yeah, 100. Yeah, so. Even if it's 199 days or whatever, I mean, he's still going to get out early. And I mean, like I said earlier, him going to jail for 22 and a half years, if he goes for 225,000 years, how's that going to stop them from murdering black people? It hasn't stopped. I mean, hell, the day he was sentenced, they murdered a little black girl, So, I mean, that him being sentenced doesn't stop what they're doing to us. Great, he's got some time. Like I said, it's more than I thought he was going to get. I really thought he was going to get a slap on the wrist. I mean, 22 years for killing somebody is a slap on the wrist. Don't get me wrong, but I thought it was going to be like, well, all of that. But what do we need to do, to stop them from murdering us? Is it holding our elected officials accountable? Is it us holding our vote? Like, what do we need to do? Because that doesn't solve the wholesale murder of black people.
Yeah, because I look at it like this. Okay, their family's cool with it, like the 5-star said, and I think that's a great thing for their family. But in regards to black people, what next? We just wait till the next tragedy. I mean, we still have 3 or 4 other officers that are going to be tried on this exact same case, and they're probably going to get way less than what this guy got. He's probably not going to serve the whole 22 and a half years, as we know, be it good behavior and whatever else that they can come up with them to get him out. But for us as black people, the symbolism is great. Once again, more symbolism. But what do we do moving forward? I mean, how does this, it's like Juneteenth. It's great to have the holiday, but once the holiday is over, then what?
Could have gotten more time, but the judge punked out because he only gave him what he gave him on the one charge. He just threw the other charges out, basically saying that one charge would eat it up. Not if you run them consecutively. You could have tacked it on, but they didn't want to tack it on. They wanted to make sure they gave him enough time to satisfy the natives so they didn't burn the place down. And I'm going to tell you, I could be wrong. There's some things that happened after that trial that in the appeals court, it's not going to go the way people think it's going to go. So, this man may end up doing enough time to get an appeal and win his appeal, because that Maxine Water thing going to come up. That juror running his mouth going to come up. And, the fact that you may have violated this man's due process, may come into play, and this dude may just do enough time to get an appeal. So that's why I'm like, they got people that we watching get out of jail, that went to jail for stealing some goddamn hair clippers and got life. And you come up with 22 funk ass years. And for those that like, well, man, ain't nothing gonna satisfy you. Nah, ain't nothing gonna satisfy me when I see the system do what the system does. It wasn't built for us. It was built for them. And it always seems to come into play to work in their favor. Now, how do we hold elected officials accountable? We ain't. We ain't gonna hold these people accountable. We ain't gonna hold them accountable. I'm watching them dance in Washington today. Oh, Jesse Jackson went to jail. Jesse Jackson knew he was gonna go to jail from the gate. But at the end of the day, it doesn't change anything. And that's the thing I have with it. I've said what I said about some of them people in the family. They never gave a damn about George. They don't give a damn about how much time he got. They got the money, and they balling out the gym, shooting threes from the parking lot with $100 bills.
Yeah, as this case kind of formulated and stuff, I like to observe the things around it. It's too often that we always focus on the main meat of an issue, when sometimes you got to look at the fluff around it. Like when you get a plate of food, you like to look at the steak, but how is it set up in the plate? Is it like appetizing? Is it exquisite? I like to look at how it's set up, right? And I just noticed from the time that this man was murdered in cold blood, how his brothers and, family members, whoever they may be, they would come out to a press conference in a t-shirt and, and they looked like everybody else coming off of the streets or, in the neighborhood. And then now you see them, and I've seen them progress. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm just saying it makes me wonder, now that they progress, every time you see them in public now, they've got the 3-piece suits. It's like they're almost, and then, their whole tone is totally different in regards to the messaging. It went from, I need justice, we don't give a damn, to, well, hey, y'all be peaceful, y'all be, quiet, and when everything is good, and, just, move on, type stuff. And I don't know if you noticed that, 5-star, but, I just kind of noticed that whenever Crump gets involved, that is the playbook that the people are put into to make people just be more quiet and can't we all get along, Rodney King type stuff.
Well, you're telling the truth. I mean, the question is if you loved him so much, why was he even in Minnesota? Why he even had to go to Minnesota to get his life in order if you loved him so much? You could have helped him right here in Houston. It's because you didn't want to help him. But I want to address Al's comment about speak more positivity in existence, that things will get better, because we've been waiting 60 years for King's dream to come true. I'm not doing it no more. I'm going to speak the real, man. And the real of this situation is that system is not designed for us. Now, we speaking positive, God damn it, I've been trying to say I'm going to win the lotto for the last 20 years. Positively speaking, it ain't happened. Positively speaking, they're going to change the laws and stop killing black people. It's never happened. Dr. King, no. The reality of it is these people are who they are. This system is what it is. And we have to accept that. And we have to accept the fact that ain't nobody gonna step out their goddamn comfort zone and really go to war to hold these politicians accountable. They're not gonna do it. You got a whole city in perils in Houston because I've been holding people accountable, and because I hold them accountable and don't kiss their asses, you don't want to use a plan that could save human life. That's the reality of where we live.
Yeah, really quick, I'll speak to that, Al. So how about speak more positivity into existence? Where'd it go? Things, there you go. That things will get better. I mean, so there is power in speaking things into existence. It actually follows the laws of the universe. And if you follow the Bible, it tells you to speak things that are not as though they were. So yes, I agree with speaking things into the universe, but also says, and I don't go to church, but I do know for those of you who do, it says faith without the works is dead. You know, so speaking things into the universe is, you know, having faith that those things will manifest. And also to that, once you start speaking things, and you eventually start walking in them. So along with that, you have to take action, because a lot of times when people follow the laws of the universe, they just think, oh, all I got to do is just, and I'm not saying you're saying it, Al, but some people say, all I got to do is just speak it, and voila, here's $1 million is going to jump into my lap. You also have to take action. And so for us as Black people, not only do we need to be more positive, I guess, and speak things into existence, we also have to do something in order to will it. Because again, for those of you guys who go to church, what did Jacob do with the angel? He says, I'm not going to let you go until you bless me. So sometimes you got to force a situation. Sure. Yeah,
and I like what Al is saying, but wasn't there a rap song that said positivity isn't where I live? It's hard to speak positivity if you're in an environment where positivity isn't where you live. And, whenever I hear that, I'm a Catholic, by religion or whatever. So Christian, whatever you want to call it, recovering Catholic, whatever you want to call me. But, a lot of I think as Black people, we got to start getting away from that pastor pulpit pimp mentality. When they tell you, just sow a seed of faith, sister, and everything will get better. I've seen people in our community sow seeds of faith to where their kids didn't have any shoes on their feet, and the pastor's still driving a classic old school car. His kids are going to private school. He's living in the big house and all this other stuff. And the people got absolutely nothing, and I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm just saying we got to live in the reality that we exist in right now. And,
No, we don't. We don't have to live in the reality that we exist in right now. See, that's another falsehood.
Why not?
Well, because that's saying that I got to accept where I am.
Oh, so, no, that ain't what I'm saying.
I know, but listen, because what I'm saying is my mom told me this and I didn't like it. When she says we are all where we are because we want to be, whether you like it or not. I know that's unpopular, but there is power in thinking positive. And so you say positivity is not where I live. Why not? That all starts up here. And I know that's unpopular, to think that, but positivity does start with you in your mind. It's a belief system. And so there's a way to, to move out of that. And I know I don't feel like getting into all of that, but there is power in positive thinking. So I understand what he was going with that. However, we do get it misconstrued because we think sometimes that is all we have to do. And to your point, Donovan, especially in the church, people are told all you have to do is have faith. But see, again, people don't read that Bible. It tells you to read and, decipher the word for yourself. People don't do that because also in that Bible says, don't throw your pearl before the swine, which means if your pearls are needed to pay your light bill, you're not going to give the swine ass preacher your last dollar. That takes wisdom. That comes out of the book of Psalms, So there's a lot more to it. And unfortunately, we as Black people, we don't tell the whole side of the story. Neither do we demand the whole side of the story. And so we believe half of the story. So there is truth in all of that. We just need to put it together. But yeah, you can't think positive and act negative. If that makes any sense. Somebody brought up something. Oh, go ahead, Gary.
A lot of people would call me negative. I call me truthful. And the thing is I've watched this system let us down so many times, and we keep holding on to the faith that is going to change. Well, I don't see that happening anytime soon. Not with the people that represent us, not with the people we have in office. I don't see it happening. So the thing is, I might be some days to some people, oh, you're just negative. No, I'm not. I'm really not negative. I'm a positive person. I mean, today I believe that a bunch of kids that went to camp, if they do what they're supposed to do, they're going to have a good life. And it's either going to be through the game of football or through an academic education, or if they go to trade school or whatever, but at the end of the day, in some situations, some things are just not going to change until we decide we want to go to war, and we decide we want to fight, and we want to change it. And I'm talking about literally fighting, because the more we talk about it, nothing is actually changing. Chauvin did what he did. Today he got his sentence, and I can guarantee you before the week is over, somebody else going to get shot by a cop. Until qualified immunity is dealt with, we're going to keep dealing with this.
Yeah, here's the funny thing with that. And that's kind of where I was kind of leading with the thing. I mean, when I say positivity ain't where I live, and we got to live in the reality that we live in, I'm talking about looking at what is going on actually. Not how we would like to see it or what we would want to see it. It's like what's actually happening to us. Because too many times as Black people, especially our parents, they want us to always, look away at what is actually right in front of us. Like, oh, don't worry about that. Let that go. But, if a person's going to continually shit on me, don't shit on me and then tell me that it's snowflakes. It doesn't jive. I got to deal with what's happening right now. So in regards to that, how many of you guys heard Wednesday that Joe Biden once again put out a 5-point plan to combat crime and the rise in crime this summer and moving forward, right? If you guys dissect that plan, it is almost similar to the 1994 crime bill in its incentivization of police departments. He wants to give more money and more resources to police departments so that they can combat the rise of crime across the nation.
You deal with crime. Do you deal with it proactively before it happens, or you deal with it after it happens? Joe can put whatever he wants on paper. He can say whatever he wants. But if you're not trying to fix it before it happens, it's gonna happen regardless. In Houston, you tell me how this system works. And I'm gonna say it, and it may make some people mad, but I mean it's what it is. You had an innocent white lady that got killed going into a gym, right? Very, very unfortunate that happened to that lady. In 48 hours, y'all done found her killer. You ain't servicing the Black and the brown people the same way. You're not making that happen for them. My partner Kevin Walker's daughter got killed, 3-4 years ago? You can't even get a call back from the detectives. So the thing is we live in a society that caters to certain people. It caters to certain people. And their money creates their change. We don't have the finance that they have to put into these campaigns and different things. And these folks go out to, go to the extreme to make sure that whatever their issue is, they solve it. That's their reality. Our reality is that we're poor, we stuck in these neighborhoods, and they don't give a damn. And that's all it boils down to. And Art Scale, good friend of mine, he says 5-star, we just can't go to war. We got to have a plan. Man, there's several people out there that got blueprints. The minister has a plan. But these same folk will tell you, don't you listen to that Negro. Don't you do what he's telling you to do. And the best part of the plan is just hold your money. So if we want to affect change, why don't we follow the plan? And this is why I'm telling you, I can't keep holding on to the hope that things are going to change when motherfuckers won't follow the plan.
Yeah, and regarding Biden and his new, initiatives and all of that, listen, let me tell y'all something. I know at least all three of us, at the very least, said this was going to happen. But a lot of people out there that voted for Joe Biden and Kamala, oh no, we gonna get him in there and hold him accountable. Oh, that's who he used to be. Oh, he said he was sorry and he apologized for what he did. And did we not also tell you that Jim Crow Joe is not going to change? In fact, he was going to get in there and he was going to continue. You think that man that stood on the Senate floor years ago talking about, oh, they going to, hit my wife over the head and snatch her purses. Y'all think he changed? Yeah, this dude hung around with well-known racists. He hung around with racists. And y'all somehow thought magically this man had changed. Oh, Joe, he's changed. He's gotten in there like we all said, and he's doubling down on the shit he started. Do you really think he trusts you Negroes? Only way he trusts you Negroes is to take your ass in there and vote Democrat like you always do. He don't trust you. In fact, he's throwing more police money at the police because he want to make sure they keep y'all black asses under subjection. But yet, here we are talking about, oh, he's gonna do some more tough on crime stuff. Did you think he wasn't? And if you did, you the fool. Next time he asks for your vote, do the right thing.
Well, they ain't the fool, they boo-boo the fool. They boo-boo the fool. How you gonna trust the oppressor to deal with oppression? And see, we so stupid and blind that it's unreal. If Kevin Hart says something about gay people 10 years ago, you want to cancel him because he's a bigot. He's racist against gay people. But Joe Biden can be mentored by Strom Thurmond, a certified racist.
And don't forget James Eastland.
And you believe because he's running for president that he has totally changed. We pick and choose who we want to believe in. You Negroes have abandoned the minister. You abandoned him. You didn't fight for him. You allowed these social media platforms to blacken him out. You allowed these black HBCUs to not allow him to come to speak anymore. The one man that could give us some hope and give us a blueprint to rock with it, you shit on him. So today, you don't get to tell me about all this shit about hoping and wishing, and Biden is who he is. And he's never going to change. The only difference is he can't call you a nigger in public. But when they close that door, you all kind of niggas.
And I want you guys to be cognizant too, because they have a playbook that they use. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about Simone Sanders a little bit, because I know Dimitri knows a little bit about it. If you guys saw a recent video of her behind Kamala Harris. As we know, Kamala doesn't let nobody talk for her. But what they're going to start doing now is they're going to start explaining this new crime bill. And just like they said when he was in the race for the election, they put Simone Sanders out there. And what did she say in regards when they were kept asked about the 1994 crime bill? What did she say? Oh, that was the states. When I wrote the crime bill, this is Joe Biden, when I wrote the crime bill, it wasn't meant to be used in the way that the states used it. So here we are, you are now president. And if you look at the 5 steps of this plan, it is almost damn near identical to the 1994 crime bill. And you're on the federal level. You've never left it. So what will the states do again? And he's going to roll these people out. Simone Sanders, Jean-Claude Pierre. And it's so sad that he uses our black women the way he does. And all these platforms for you to say, well, no, it doesn't really work like that. This is how the program works. Look at this plan and look at the 1994 crime bill. Police behavior will never change because it is incentivized for dollar compensation. For every dollar local police departments and states spend, the federal government, your tax dollars, matches it. And thus, the prison industrial complex, the private prison industrial complex, has to be at a 90% or more capacity to turn a profit. So if they don't change if that doesn't change the behavior of the police, and you repeal the 1994 crime bill and you leave this bill there, let's say they do that, which they won't, but let's say they did, all they're doing is using the shell game on you and saying, okay, we're going to repeal this, but we're going to leave this that does the exact same thing.
Before we put this up, Fayville Bowie said, people do change. I will give him a chance. But the local politicians that have been on the job for years better change, or I will not vote for them. So you telling me Lori Lightfoot needs to change, or you're not going to vote for her? But Joe Biden been in office damn near half a century, ain't changed one bit. And you would give him your vote? You believed he changed? Wow.
You know what? Fayville, are you a troll? I mean, to keep it real, because, it's hard for, like, I know some of y'all civil rights era people, y'all got y'all ways, but you just be saying it's weird. I think you're a white man in disguise. You got to be. But it just don't make no sense. Anyway, y'all see this very, picture, whatever it is. Or you see Kamala with her little pearls on, and she's talking to the press.
Where are the Chucks?
Oh, I'm sure they're there. But I believe she's in Mexico here because, she's going to the border after she was called out for not going to the border. So Kamala's making her rounds, but we're not even really focusing on lying-ass Kamala. In the very back off to the right, on that side, you see Simone Sanders, and she appears to be holding a coat. She went from being a senior advisor on the Biden campaign to a coat rack. Now, originally, she's supposed to be that of Kamala's communication press somebody. I don't know. She's supposed to be talking for Kamala. But I've seen several pictures and events where Simone is just standing back there like, you want me to get your coat, madam? You want some water, madam? And so remember, Simone Sanders was the one that was talking down to black people, told black men, shut up and stop speaking when your opinion is not solicited. And all of that. And she got up there, she lied for Joe. And Joe, he didn't mean that when he said, you ain't black. He kind of just was, she couldn't even explain it, right? So anyway, she's been deduced down to a coat rack. I don't know who's being treated worse, her or Omarosa. I mean, at this point, like, you did all that raccooning and you've gotten turned into a coat rack.
Well, in the old days, she just being good nigga for Massa. That's all it is. I mean, and she deserves to be a coat rack. I see these politicians even here, man. The great white hope comes through. They jump on it. They want you to believe this and believe that. You need to get behind these people. And all of them just be sucking ass. And then when these people treat us like garbage, they the first ones to run their mouth. We shouldn't support him. And man, what you need to do is shut your mouth. because you part of the reason we're in the situation that we're in now. And Simone Sanders, thank you for bamboozling the Negroes that were going to be bamboozled, because some of us were not bamboozled. Joe Biden didn't get a vote on this panel. He didn't get one on this panel because what's happening now, we already knew. So why is it that we could see it, but you couldn't? It's because you didn't want to see it. You knew, but you didn't want to see it. And now you're too embarrassed to say anything about it.
Yeah, for those that guys aren't aware, the position of press secretary is going to be open in about 8 months. And Simone Sanders, once again, how do you claim you don't really want the job, but you do an op-ed saying how hurt you were you didn't get it in the first place, and you're happy in your position on the VP ticket? But yet, like I said, nothing against women or nothing. When have you ever seen Kamala Harris let somebody speak for her? I've never seen it in my time that she was here in California. She was always capable of speaking for herself. And so you got this chick there. And this is what we got to understand about Democratic and Republican political operatives. They do not care about Black people or anything else. All they care about is the next job or their next book that they need to sell. And this is a prime example of Generation Z. I believe she's a Generation Zer, of how they go after the bag. It's just, and it's just so sad because, she was all defending masks and all this other stuff. And now, a lot of these bootlicks have nothing to say. And when you say the difference between her and Omarosa is, at least Omarosa, and I'm not an Omarosa fan, at least Omarosa knew when it was time to fold them and it was time to leave. You know what I mean? Even though they escorted her out, but she got what she got to do and then she left. And now she's trying to repair her dignity.
Well, I wonder what they're going to do in the next election. Biden ain't doing nothing for us. You voted for him based on what he said he was going to do for us. So when the next election comes up and they put up this Republican opponent, and what's going to be the excuse for you to vote for him this time? Oh, he need 4 more years. He couldn't do nothing in 4 years. But your first 2, you had every branch of government you needed to make anything happen. You could repeal your 1994 crime bill. You could fix a lot of different things. So what's going to be the excuse? What's going to be the excuse when he doesn't do his job for us that he promised to do for us? The same people that delivered the White House to him. Latinos didn't put him in the White House. Whites didn't put him in the White House. The Black vote put him in the White House. So when he doesn't do his job, what are you going to say? What's going to be the excuse? But will you give that Black politician on any level the same respect if they don't do their jobs? Yeah, we know you will, because you keep putting the same old Negro sellouts in office every year anyway.
Yeah, we said it before. We're going to say it again. And I'm going to say it. I'm going to steal this from you, D. Call me Donstradamus. Donstradamus. They're going to use the old boogeyman. Donald Trump's going to come back now. We don't want that to happen. And that's what they're going to say. They're going to say, we couldn't do nothing for you, but they are projected to lose the midterms. There is no way in hell you can tell me the Democrats are going to hold the House or the Senate. And then they're going to say, see, they're obstructing us. They're obstructing us. But okay, you want an infrastructure bill going in, and you want that to be your legacy, right, Mr. Biden? You have all the votes you need. Why is it that the Democrats are the only group that insists on voting and having Republicans vote with them in regards to bipartisanship? They just don't care. It's all smoke and mirrors. If you really wanted your agenda to get done, you would just vote it through like Mitch McConnell does. You just vote it through. You got the votes. You play the game.
They don't have the balls to do what Mitch McConnell does. See, they play gangster. Mitch McConnell is a gangster. Manchin is a gangster. Your own people shitting on you right now. Remember when they felt that the lady was shitting on them in the Republican Party? What did they do? They stripped her. They silenced her. But on the Democratic side, they like to play the game. I still say, and if you think they ain't two birds of the same, they ain't that the feathers ain't coming off the same bird. If they could walk out the Texas House for SB 7, why they didn't walk out for the gun bill? Because they cut the deal behind the scenes. Why they didn't walk out? If they'd have walked out for the gun bill, they would have never been able to vote on SB 7. But they cut the deal. And nobody wants to admit that. So, you get what you vote for some days. Oppression, you're voting for oppression. So you can't complain about it because you're voting for oppression and you're comfortable with that. You voted for a certified racist to be the president of the United States. Now, y'all know how we was raised. You know what our mamas used to say? If you hang around dogs, you're going to get fleas. Ain't that what they used to say? Okay, so if you hang around racists, what are you? If a racist mentors you, what are you? If you speak at that same racist funeral and you eulogize him, what are you? That's Biden. That's your president.
All right, so I want to switch gears here. Penelope says, I'm so tired of politics. I'm here to save you. Yeah. Not that this subject is even any better, but somebody put us onto the story that happened on Wednesday in Daytona Beach, Florida, where a police officer was shot. Jason Raynor was his name. He's in critical condition. He was shot by a black man by the name of Othal Wallace. He was shot in his head during a traffic stop. And they have released the video. The police department said they made a decision to release the whole video so that everybody could see it. So Wallace is still on the run, and they've raised the bounty, I guess you want to call it that, or the reward money to $200,000. They last said they think he's in Georgia, but there's a lot involved here. So Mr. Wallace, I guess his name was Ozone. He was a part of the NFAC, and so of course. But he wasn't, from what the NFAC is saying, that he was kicked out in January. But of course, the media and them are trying to tie him to, this organization. Y'all know how they do. And told the NFAC, one of the spokespeople or somebody said, well, the NFAC is pretty much non-existent anymore. Of course, you guys know what, and I don't know how true that is. This is what the article I was reading, that Grandmaster Jay has been hemmed up by the feds, and he's pretty much been silent since that time, right? So they're trying to tie him to that. But I was also reading right now that the NAACP and the Daytona Beach Black Clergy Alliance have organized a public prayer vigil for our wounded Daytona Beach officer. And they say this is our community's chance to show this officer and his family how much his life means to us all. So again, I did say that was the NAACP and the black clergy, somebody. But I mean, nobody really should be shot, in the head for whatever reason. So I'm not advocating that, but it's very telling because now, and I'm not speaking this into existence, but don't think you're not going to see the murder of black people, especially black men, by police officers go up. You know why? Because they're going to say, oh, I didn't know what he was going to do. All I can do is just think of the officer in Daytona. He made a traffic stop and he killed, he shot him in the head. They're going to try to go with that I fear for my life thing. And they're going to use these type of things as justification to do it. Also, notice how they tie the NFAC to this, even though he was in it and they said he's not in it anymore, they're going to try to make this about the NFAC. But you had a whole bunch of white folks storm the Capitol on January 6th. Nobody's making a huge indictment of the Proud Boys, the KKK, or the Republicans even, right? Nobody's indicting them. but they're gonna throw the NFAC into that as if they are teaching, their members or ex-members to do that. So he, as of now, they have not caught him. So
the question I would ask, and I have several, was that cop's life more important than the man he decided to profile? Why did you stop him? Why did you bother him? I want you to think about it. You don't get to do that. Everybody's not stable. So you decided this is what you were going to do. So here's my thing, and I've said it before. You want me to feel your pain when an officer goes down. But how many officers have killed innocent people on a simple traffic stop? How many officers have killed innocent people on a traffic stop? So his family's in my prayers, but like Malcolm said, the chicken's just coming home to roost.
Right. And, also in the major news, you guys have heard that Joe Biden, by 9/11 symbolic numbers, he wants to pull all the troops out of Afghanistan. Now, we keep talking about how the Democratic Party is a party for the working man, the blue collar working man. But we know, those of us in the military and those people who aren't in the military know that war is big business. You got a lot of people making money in the arms sales and just, contracting with the military and the federal government, right? It came out today that there will be at least 600 to 700 troops left behind in Afghanistan after we leave. See, so that goes to show you that they say one thing, and I don't care what party it is. They say one thing, but they do another. And we think it's a victory when, he's pulling most of the troops out. Why are we in over 800 locations outside of the United States? Why? This is where a lot of our tax dollars goes to maintain those bases and stuff. How much of that money could go right here in resources that we need right here in the United States? But we never ask those questions. You want to know why? Because we are so indoctrinated into this good old white man going to do the right thing. And we just have so much faith in this system. And when it comes to us and we say, we need reparations, this is what we need. They give us a holiday or they want to do a study and there's never any money, but anything they do for everybody else always has a money attached to it. And then they pull all this money out their asses. But when we say reparations, and that's not for every Black person, like I've been telling you, I broke it down how it actually works. 8% of the Black population actually is going to get reparations. They don't have any money, but we sit here and we go, okay, all right. But our children go over there and fight in the wars. Like right now, Donald Trump's sons are eligible to go fight in the war, in any wars, any of these wars. They're eligible. They're not 41 years old, whatever the deal is. How come they never go? But it's always our kids asked to do this job, and then they come back fucked up worse than when they went, and then their neighborhoods are worse than when they left it. But we never ask these questions. It's just so damn frustrating.
Well, let me ask you a question, Demetri. This cop that was shot was in Daytona Beach, and they want people to, to have a prayer visual so that they can show them they care so much. Well, I would love to attend the visual when you have one for Ronald Green, who was beat unmercifully by the Louisiana State Police on the side of the damn road. You hear the tape for damn near 3 years, but yet you ain't did nothing to them cops. And I'm supposed to feel bad for a cop that got shot. You killed Ronald Green. You've killed Breonna Taylor. We could keep going.
Ahmaud Arbery, all these people.
Yeah, exactly. And we're supposed to feel something. No, some of us are immune to your type of pain.
And then, like you said, Gary, why are you stopping him? Because a lot of people have raised that question, like, why was you stopping him? What was he doing? And so, it's kind of a tale really on both sides. But so we know, we can assume that, the cops are going to be wilding out even more with Black people. Oh, I thought that my life was in danger. So they're going to start, murking black people. But the other part of that too is black people are just tired of biting their fingernails every time they get pulled over. You know, and it's eventually you come to the point of it's either me or you. It's do or die. You know what I mean? And so it's like people getting pulled over. You know, you don't want to die, and so like why do you continue messing with black people? But see, that'll get lost in translation now because the cop was shot, and you know they got all this manhunt going on, and you got, you know, the church. I just can't stand it. Those are the same people that forgave Dylan Roof. He went into church and shot your folks, and y'all stand, oh, I forgive him. I wish he didn't even have to get the death penalty. And y'all sitting up there, and I saw the picture, locking arms with the police. And I'm not saying you shouldn't, you know, hope that he doesn't die. I mean, I'm not wishing death on him, but it's like, y'all sure know how to get together in Raccoon, you know, at the behest of white supremacy. But like you said, Gary, there's a whole, y'all can shit from what they do to black people. Y'all should never have time to get up off of your knees for nobody else. But you want to be, oh, look, master, I'm going to get in here and agree with you. You know, but let's ask all the questions. Why are you not saying there's justification to shoot somebody, but why would you messing with them? I'd like to see the cops record. Do you have a rap sheet yourself messing with people? You know, do you have a whole bunch of complaints? Like, well, what was your deal?
In the state of Texas with the new, you know, open carry law, a lot of people are about to get profiled. A lot of people are about to get profiled. Because realistically, if you're walking around with your gun and you don't violate the law, they have no reason to bother you. But they're gonna bother you.
It's a setup.
Yeah. I mean, even if they say, well, we know he's not supposed to have a gun, you still have to have a legal reason to bother that person. And these people don't have those justifications. And then when things go wrong, everybody want to scream bloody murder. The chicken's coming home to roost. I don't care what nobody tell me.
Yeah, you know, me personally, I'm just getting tired of going from the next tragedy to the next tragedy to the next tragedy. You know, people, okay, let me say it in a way where I don't get flagged or anything like that. You've got to speak the language that a person speaks. If a person only knows intimidation and violence, and that's all they understand, that's how you got to speak to them. And see, and that's the kind of stuff I was raised on. You deal with I'm violent with people that are violent with me. I'm peaceful with people that are peaceful with me. No quarter given, no exceptions. I am just getting tired of all this shit happening. And every time a black tragedy happens, I go and I look at what the CDC says and what my local black officials say in regards to what happens to black people. And the reason I do that is because I'm a black-skinned man.
I want to read Leon Mobley's comment. He was stopped. And I'm going to read this slow for y'all. Because the community made many complaints about the crime in the area, which this cop was very respectful in handling this case because I'm close friends with the chief of police who is straight across the board. The Supreme Court has ruled, regardless if it's a high crime area, you do not have legal justification to profile somebody because they are in a high crime area. I am in a high crime area on a daily basis, 3rd Ward, Texas. But that don't mean that I'm a criminal and I'm committing a crime. You have to have a legal reason to pull somebody over, to even question them on that level. You cannot do it. It doesn't matter if he was respectful. You see what I'm saying? It does not matter. He had no legal recourse to even pull him over or drive up on him and try to accost him. I'm sorry. The chief may be a good guy, but this officer did it wrong that day and it cost him his life.
Yeah, 5-star, as a soon-to-be Esquire attorney of law and a studier of law, isn't that, and then this isn't all law enforcement, that you have to have reasonable, articulate suspicion a crime is about to be committed, has been committed, or whatever the other, the thing of that.
You're correct. That's why I'm saying if he had not committed a crime, you had no reason to even bother him. I'm sorry, but you had no reason to even bother him. That's why when I get stopped and I know it's bogus, what crime have I committed? Well, can I get your ID? No. According to the laws of the state of Texas, I do not have to identify myself if I've not committed a crime. So these cops got to stop. And the thing is, things are changing slowly. Okay, brother, I get it. But you out here, and with this cop being shot, you release the whole tape. Well, when you gonna start releasing them motherfucking tapes of them shooting us? Why it took almost 3 years to release the tape of Ronald Green after what they did to this man? I'm sorry. He did it wrong that day. It cost him his life.
And two, Amawali, how you doing? Yeah, he did. The cop did put his hands on him. He put his hands on him, telling him, from what I read, I didn't see it yet, but telling him, hey, sit, putting his hands on him. So it's like, why are you doing that? And, you know, and how you doing, Leon? I mean, a lot of people been complaining about the crime in the area. Well, was they complaining about me doing the crime? I have a right to be driving through a crime-ridden area without assuming that I'm the criminal. And that's the problem, too. You know, I don't know if it's a black neighborhood, but let's just say it was, with these, you know, white officers, because the officer was white, white officers running up and down in our neighborhood. They already afraid and on, you know, trigger happy. And so if you are too afraid to work the neighborhoods, then tell them to reassign you somewhere. But, you know, maybe Wallace, his last name was Wallace, thought it was going to be him. And, you know, you putting your hands on me, it's supposed to be a traffic stop. And we've seen these traffic stops escalate to something else. You know, George Floyd is a perfect example. And so I would just venture to say most black people, especially black men in America, especially after seeing George Floyd die the way he did, I think most people would be on edge. Again, I'm not justifying him shooting a cop, but I think we need to understand both sides of the story. And you're saying you're friends with the police chief and he's on the straight and narrow. I just have a problem with that. You know, they're going to back the blue wall of violence regardless. He's not going to turn on his officers. And it was rare that the chief turned on an officer in the George Floyd case. He had no choice. But I just, you know, there's so many questions, but I think police officers need to think twice before you go, excuse my French, fucking with black people.
Yeah, you know, and I just want to add to that, you know, you have actually, if you go on YouTube, and I like to go on YouTube and look at what these police officers are doing, you have officers now across the nation that aren't even afraid of manipulating their cameras, turning it off, putting it in the box or whatever. And you want to know why they're not afraid of that? Because they know that they're on that side of the blue line and they're going to be protected. You know, so even though you have a good tape, and I don't know what the tape in Daytona is, but what I'm saying is, just like the 5-star said, when they think it's a good shoot and their person has been assaulted, the whole tape goes out to get the sympathy. But when it happens to us, like that man that was murdered up in was it North Carolina? You only get 30 seconds of the tape, and he's running away from the police. You know, so.
It's funny you bring up North Carolina because they off the chain in Rock Hill, North Carolina right now. Right now, 2 days ago, cop beat the hell out of 2 black guys on a traffic stop. When y'all gonna get it? Demetra said it, you said it. This ain't the time to be fucking with black people, man. Because some of us ain't playing them games, man. But remember, months ago, I kept saying it. Man, black people ain't finna play with you cops no more, man. So all that rolling up with the bullying and thinking because you got the blue suit on, somebody finna bow down. Some of these cats ain't finna bow down, man. Some of these cats, and the media is the media trying to put it on the NFAC or the new Black Panther Party. You know, that's what they do. But you won't say in the media he had no legal justification to even bother him. So guess what? You went looking for something and you got what you was looking for.
Yeah, a cop in any state does not have a right. Well, there's some states I think they do, but again, Jerry is the law guy here. But you do not have to ID if you don't want to, if you haven't committed a crime. And a lot of people, we don't know that. We just have a appeal to authority. So whenever they ask me for my name, the first thing I say is, you can call me good citizen. And they have to go with that. Well, I'm trying to write a report. I don't give a damn. Good citizen. I'm a private citizen. I don't want my name being put out into the public like that. But where I'm at, everybody knows who I am. So it's kind of a moot point. But
well, Al say he tried to stay out of high crime areas. Some of us live in high crime areas. We can't stay out of them. But that doesn't mean you get to roll up and get to fucking with me, man. That you don't get to fuck with me like that, because I live in a high crime area. And a lot of police have been trained to do exactly that. I also have a problem. I've said that before. Why you got all these white boys in these black neighborhoods, but you ain't got a lot of blacks in the white neighborhoods? You send these goddamn patty rollers out at night with their goddamn bullshit. I'm telling you, man, they not taking it no more. They say they just shot up a cop car in Houston. They not taking it no more, man. So Mr. Police Chief all over the country, I'm cool with a few of y'all. Say, man, y'all gonna have to retrain these people with how they gonna deal with folk. You got these cameras on you now. You got these cell phones on you now. People are recording you constantly, and you're not getting away with all that shit you was getting away with. But more importantly, these youngsters ain't our ancestors. We keep trying to tell you. They got just as much ammunition as you got. And when you go fucking with them, they already unstable, full of that goddamn weed that's stinking everywhere. They gonna show you better than they can tell you.
yeah, how many of you guys remember when Obama got into office, there was an ammunition shortage in the United States for a little while for small arms? And white people were loading up. You know, I'm not telling you what you need to do, but if you haven't done it already, you better get to defending yourself.
I want to say this too. And so for those of you guys who haven't seen Al is of the very lighter persuasion. Very light. He's a very light-skinned brother. And in some cases, he could pass. You know, if he wanted to, he could pass. And so I say all of that to say, as a black man, and let's say a dark-skinned black man, you wouldn't be safe to ride in a good neighborhood without them thinking you was committing a crime. So that just kind of really goes to say, to Gary's point, I should be able to drive wherever I want to, as long as I'm law abiding, without you messing with me. They're like, there's no excuse. There's like, so if you drive in a high crime area, so you may be under suspicion. But if you're black enough, you driving in a not so high crime area, you really gonna get profiled. And so it's like, it just says that we should be able to do what we want without being profiled. And I don't care what you say. I don't really know all the particulars of that case, but he probably was profiling. Oh, here's it, because the dude has dreads, so he fits the description, if you will. And so I'm sure the cop was like, let me see what this nigger's up to. And unfortunately, he bit off more than he could chew, but that's not the case. See, most brothers in America don't have that reality of, well, I've never had a cop mess with me because, I'm a black man. Yeah, you are. You a black man, but a lot of other black men don't got that luxury, no matter where they go.
I'm going to give you an example. Like Walter bought property in Montgomery County, Conroe. Well, if you're from here, a lot of people would tell you, we ain't got no business up there, man. We don't need to be up there, man. Them folk ain't right up there, man. You could just be riding through there, ain't bothering nobody. They're gonna hit them lights, they're gonna pull you over. Well, see, me, when I remember one night I got pulled over, it was 4 of us in the car, and I was living in Louisiana, so I'm coming to Texas because my tag had went out. My tags had went out, so I need to come here on a Friday. I'm gonna stay to the Monday, get my tags, and then I'm going back. I was working offshore. So they pulled me over, and we talking about a tag ticket was $10. The man come to the window, not just, just me. But back then I had braids, big fly gold chain on. I'm dressed impeccably well. My car, big wheels, TVs in the headrest. You pulled me over, but for what reason? It's dark. You couldn't even see my tags. You couldn't even run me. You see what I'm saying? By the time you made the loop and came back and got behind me, you didn't even have time to run my tags to see if they had went out. So when he pulled me over, my cousin's like, man, just chill out, man. Fuck you mean? I ain't gotta just chill out. So when he came to the window, he had attitude. And I'm like, look here, man, you can either give me a ticket or take me to jail. Well, man, I need your driver's license. I gave you my driver's license. I told you what's wrong. My tag's out. I got to be here till Monday. Yeah. Well, you know I can take you to jail for that. What the fuck is you waiting on then? You do not scare me. And I handle them bad. But at the end of the day, don't you got some rapists out here that you can go find? Some murderers, some pedophiles that you can go find? But you fucking with me about a tag that I plan on. I came here to take care of it. Now you pulled me over, bitch. Because you saw them braids, you saw that big ass chain, you saw the TVs in the headrest, the big wheels on the car. That's why you pulled me over. And y'all need to understand that we're tired of it. You can't have you can't have a nice car and be a black man and be successful and ride through the white neighborhood. No, we tired of that. But more importantly, you don't know who you pulling over some days, bro. Because of George Floyd, people ain't taking the chances no more. They not taking the chances no more. So it's certain spots in Houston, y'all know what I'm talking about. Brazoria County, Pearland. You know what I'm talking about? Fort Bend County, certain areas. Conroe, Liberty County. Say, man, you know what it is when you go through there. But be careful. Because everybody not playing, bro. You don't know what kind of day these people done had when you pull them over. You don't know what they going through in their family life. And now you just want to fuck with them for no reason. And from what I'm understanding, the young man was in his fucking driveway. What is you fucking with him for if he in his driveway? You got what you was looking for.
Like you said, tell the whole story. But the media is not going to do that. They're going to paint it in favor of, the police officer. And again, I'm not advocating that that anyone is shot. But I mean, at some point in time, there has to be a reckoning. You don't think you can continue messing with people for over 400 years and they going to continue to take it. Like things are supposed to be getting better for Black people, not worse, but they're getting worse. So, I mean, I don't know. I just think, they got a lot to think about when it comes to Black people. And then, you putting your hands on people. First of all, I don't even know why you stopped me. And you putting your hands on me, like show, give me some space and show me some respect. Hey, I'm stopping you because or whatever the case is, but you are, putting your hands all on me like I'm your boy. That's already going to go back with somebody who, like Gary said, you don't know what kind of day he's having, and maybe he don't feel like being treated like no boy anymore. So, I mean, I just, like I said, I just think it's a lesson learned for everybody. Be careful who the hell you tapping on the shoulder.
Did the cop, from what I was reading, because I haven't followed that story, did the cop tell him to sit down or something like that?
What happened was he, I don't know if he pulled him over, but he, drove upon him. And Othal, I think that's his name, he got out of the car and said, I guess what's the problem? What's going on? And the cop was telling him, sit. And was putting his hands on, I guess, tapping him on the shoulder, like sit down. And then they got the wrestling, and then he got shot in the head.
He shouldn't have put his hands on him. Matter of fact, you'd have never put your hands on him if you'd have never bothered him. He didn't violate the law. You had no justified reason to bother him.
Yeah, but you know, again, like I put in the comments there, Portland and part of Seattle have been going ham for almost 2 years, and you don't hear them saying a damn thing about that. Portland lost a third of its police officers due to retirement. Because you got to remember, our parents, me, Jerry, and Demetra's parents, these people are 70 years plus. So they're starting to retire in major droves. And what is happening in the United States, they are getting out with their pensions while they can and leaving. So Portland ended up losing 1/3 of its police force due to outright quitting and retirements. And it's happening in police forces all across the nation. So
but why are they retiring and quitting? Because you're not being allowed to murder innocent people anymore? Get your shit and go.
Exactly. And that's what they think it is, because the attitude toward policing has gotten so negative in this country at no fault of our own, of their own, that they're just leaving while they can. They're leaving while they can. So
his friend, and I just want to read this, so Ozone, we'll call him that just to make it easier, the gunman. His friend's like, I want answers. And he says, I want to get his part of the story out without him getting killed by the police, because that's what the police are trying to do. He's a great father. He's a great guy in the community. This has never happened before. Then he goes on to say, you got to look at the whole story from the way I'm looking at my brother's situation. You're sitting in a car, minding your own business, and the police never even got a call to the area. They were never called. He said he was patrolling the area. You see my brother in the car, and then that gives you the right to go bother him. Then he also says, why was the police officer even bothering him in the first place? Why did you respond with the officer shining his light in the vehicle? Why was the police officer there? It's two sides to every story. Says Ozone would never shoot a police with no reason. It would have to be a damn good reason, because he feared for his life. Then lastly, he says, nobody wants him killed. And if anything, Ozone, I will tell you, turn yourself into the police. Turn yourself into the police, because the only thing they want to do is kill you.
I'm reading Fabio's page comment. I say let them all go. Don't stop anyone. And if they are bad, wait until they kill a child or go home and shoot the whole family, then call 911. View his social media page, and you all may have egg on your face when his story is over. You're correct. I mean,
she's a troll. I seriously cannot believe that Fabio is a real black woman. I'm done being duped.
Well, my thing is, whether she black or not, you police need to stop fucking with people, man. Everybody not putting up with it no more, bro. You're not officer friendly. We don't know you. You don't live in the neighborhood. You know, like I say, you send the patty rollers out every night in the black neighborhood, even in Houston. And they know who these people are. And all they do is ride around and harass people. Now watch this. In the city of Houston, and I don't know if it's still the same, but it may be. An officer only has to make 7 calls a shift. So if they are on a 10-hour or 12-hour shift, that means 7 calls that come through their radio. They go to those calls, they deal with those calls. If they do those 7 calls in an hour, they can go sit under a tree and don't have to do shit else the rest of their shift. So why are you out there with your motherfucking speed gun out? Why are you riding through the neighborhood fucking with people? That's something you just want to do. You want to intimidate people. But everybody ain't scared of the police no more. I know me. We'll take you to jail. Well, motherfucker, take me and get me down there for it stop feeding people. I don't want to get there between meals and have to wait all motherfucking night. So if you're taking me at night, get me there 4, 3 in the morning so I can get something to eat. But you just can't scare everybody. And I don't get it with them. You steadily complaining about these youngsters, but you steady fucking with them. You steady poking the bear. God damn it, you can have an old ragged ass dog sitting on the porch. You ain't got but so many times you're gonna kick that dog, man. Before that motherfucker raise up like a pit bull.
You know, I just want to address Fayetteville's thing. I mean, Fayetteville, in a free country like this country is supposed to be on, what you're talking about is a movie. What's that movie with Tom Cruise? Minority Report, where you didn't do the crime yet, but they see that you're about to do the crime. In your dreams, they kind of troll your dreams or what's going to happen in the future. And that's what you're talking about. We don't live in that reality yet. So until somebody gets murdered or a crime it actually happens, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do at that point.
You legally fuck with them.
Right. You know,
Yeah.
so I just don't see, if you want to be in Nazi Germany, please feel free to go there and deal with that, or go back to apartheid South Africa where they can just roll up on you and say, papers, please. This is supposed to be the United States of America. And I'm not like championing the Hulk Hogan, red and yellow stripes and all that bullshit. What I'm saying is, you're saying one thing. I don't know if it's because you're a teacher and you've been indoctrinated into the system. I don't know. But if somebody rolls up and they legally have a gun and it's a concealed weapon and they've got a permit and they decide to shoot somebody square in the head, there's nothing we can do until they do it. Then the law mechanism is supposed to take where we just can't arbitrarily just pick people, which they've been doing to black people anyway, and just start locking people up on assumptions. We can't do that. It's just, that ain't how America works. I don't know.
Let me break it down in the hood terminologies. The same way you got a problem with Karen walking up to you into the neighborhood and asking you where you from, you got your ID, and you tell her, fuck you, I don't have to show you my ID. As long as you ain't committed a crime, that's the same conversation you can have with the police. I don't have to show you a motherfucking thing, Mr. Police. Fuck you. And that's the way it come out my mouth if they come up on me the wrong way. I'm not speeding. I don't have my music loud. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing anything illegal. My tag's up to date. My insurance is current. You can run you know what I don't like? The stupid that fucking questions that they ask you. In the state of Texas, you can run my tags and find out. You can run my plate and find out if I got insurance. Why the fuck when you come to the car license and insurance? Bitch, you already know if I got insurance. But see, you doing that, the reason they asking you for the ID is because if you ain't violated the law and you got some warrants, now they got justification to take your ass to jail. No, nothing.
Fabian, I just briefly read your description of a troll, and that sound like you. I mean, Fabian, I would love to have you come on the show. I mean, if you're willing to do that, you said invite me to your city and you'll see. We can send you a link. Maybe not today, but, in the near future, so we can really put a face to some of these comments, because it's just like, I mean, and listen, I mean this in the most loving way possible, but damn, are you giving Candace Owens a run for her money? Because that's some shit Candace Owens would say. I mean, golly. But yeah, we'd love to have you on the show one of these days so we can actually see if you exist.
I mean, but when you think about looking at people's social media posts, man, ain't a lot of you people that got banned for that shit. Them white supremacist views, they went so far left. The shit is ridiculous some days. So the thing is we can't decipher who's the good cop and who's the bad cop at the moment. I know I can't. I'm not even trying to figure it out. The way I see it, if you're a good cop and bad cops are doing fucked up shit and you don't say nothing, you're a bad cop. That's how I feel. And I'm not taking that back from nobody. But at the end of the day, that open carry law in Texas, that's finna set a lot of people up, man. They're going to profile a lot of people. But if you just walking down the street with your gun, long as you ain't violating the law, they ain't supposed to fuck with you. But watch how many people they fuck with. Watch how many body cams ain't gonna be on.
I totally agree. So we better get on out of here. Friday night is my woosah night.
Final thoughts, Demetra.
My final thoughts are, and I'll just leave it with the unfortunate event of the police officer. I mean, as best as I can say this, stop fucking with black people. I mean, just stop messing with black people. If he survives, I would love to hear his side of the story. Why did you pull him over? Oh, well, he fit the... No, for real, man. Why did you pull him over? So stop messing with black people because, like Gary said, especially the young generation, they with the shits. They don't have a whole lot of, pause buttons or, well, let me stop and think critically about what I'm about to do. Some people are just plain old sick of it. So stop messing with black people.
Final thoughts, Donovan.
My final thoughts is the same thoughts I always give on the weekends. Now that the George Floyd case in this particular situation has been settled, please, you guys, keep your head on swivel. They're out there killing black people. I don't want you guys to be the next George Floyd case that we have to try to get justice for because you got a cop out there who just thinks that they know the law and they're out there to kill black people. I mean, it's already a fact that the FBI, the highest police agency we have in the United States, has said white supremacy is a major threat to national security. If I were you guys, every time a white person gets next to me, I would be nervous. So just be careful out there this weekend and enjoy your weekend.
One, I want to say thank y'all for donating to the campaign as usual. We'll set up the monthly fundraiser sometime for next month, and we'll have it, and we'll do it during the week. That way we don't, bombard your weekend. And I want to thank Mike Moe again for putting that event together to take them young black men to camp, man, and letting them see a different side of the game. And I think it made a real big positive influence. But I connected with one of H-Town's greatest rappers. He was a chaperone on this trip, PSK 13, who's internationally known. And, he telling me, man, you a legend. Now, you the legend, homeboy. You the legend, man. And we agreed that we're going to do another song for the campaign. We're going to shoot the video. And I'm going to use one of his iconic tracks that he did with Pimp C and Bun B. And we're going to do that thing, man. But I just want y'all to remember that the Negro still is not free. We're dealing with all of this because we still are not free. And Mr. Policeman, if I can give you any words of advice, stop fucking with these youngsters and be careful who you pull over with your foolishness, because some of them are true black nationalists and they don't like you to begin with. You better think about it before you do it. That's all I can tell y'all. Say it's a reason we the best in the business. It's the War Zone every night, 7 o'clock on YouTube and Facebook. I want to thank you on behalf of my good friend Donovan Sadiq, the Queen Demetra K, and I am the 5-star general. Until Monday, my good people, it is what it is. We'll holler at you.
We're still on because he didn't lock out.
I think he accidentally hit the wrong button.
All right, you guys. We will catch you guys mañana.
Bye.